Hello, everyone. I didn't get a chance to speak. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
All right. Will, you want to go ahead and start real quick?
Yeah. So we were just going to introduce ourselves and we were just going to tell you about our favorite either class or experience while we were at Cincinnati State. Just to, kind of kick things off. So, hello everyone. My name is Will, as my teammates know, and Mr. Hensley, we have met. I am business management major here at Cincinnati State, and I would have to say my favorite class is probably managerial accounting, mostly just because of the classmates and the teacher I had. We kind of had a little community, so it was a great little class, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I made a couple friends that I've been in contact with still. So, as without a doubt, probably my favorite class.
Right. And of course, my teammates know me as Ryan and Professor Hensley. You and I have talked quite a few times on the phone. Um, I would have to honestly say this class probably is my favorite just because it brought everything together. The other classes were nice, but they were so focused on what they were that you didn't get to really practice it as much. But here you got to practice everything. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Well, I'm known as Janae, and I have to say my favorite class was Principles of Management. I feel like I learned a lot of techniques that I could use in this class and along with just life in general. So I feel like that was a very good class for me to take.
Hi everyone, my name is Rahil Nairat. Capstone is my favorite class because this semester let us think in a different way. It makes us like think in a way, being problem solving and critical thinking. So this is my favorite class for that.
All right.
Take it away, Janae.
All right. So, as we all know, ClickTech has done a great job in obtaining a solid position in the camera and drones industry. And our numbers definitely do indicate that. As you can see, we start off with a steady increase. And once we get to year 12, there is a change within our strategy for drones. And we just drastically increase from there. So you can see that in our total revenue. I'm ready. Also, our image rating, you can see we start off very good, and year 12, we shoot right up. Stellar start, and then we get even better, A plus, hollow cross, stock image, stock price. We increase from year 12 to 15. Return on equity, you can see the same increase. And as far as annual earnings per share, there is a steady growth there as well from year 12 to 15. Which brings us to our strategic vision, which is our company is to provide innovative cameras and drones that allow users to capture stunning and aerial views, meaning we hold our customers' experience with high esteem. So we want them to be limitless with their experiences. And that's one of our main goals, is to make sure they're pleased and satisfied with our product. So also see the world from a new perspective, our cameras and drones. Again, there's no limit to where your what the possibilities with our product, you know? So yeah, we aim to please and keep the product coming. Yep.
So that brings us to our competitive strategy. Our strategy was to be the low cost provider initially. Or Ryan, do you want to go ahead and take this?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, go for it. You're fine. Sorry
Um,
about that.
it's all good. So yeah, so our strategy, we started out being the low cost provider. I mean, you can see that on our graphs. For the first 4 years, we were pretty low on just about everything with our stock price, our return on equity. We started with both, you'll see on the next slide, our drones strategy about year 9. Will got on and really realized what was going on and made some changes. So year 11 is when the impact started for our cameras. So we adjusted the strategy in year 11 after we were very unsuccessful with being the low cost provider. And we no longer had the cheapest cameras at that point. We had the highest sales at that point, but our competition, since we were no longer the cheapest, caught up to our lead in sales during this time period. But we were able to swing it around and get back into the sales lead because our competition kept raising their prices. But we were okay with our profit. We were okay with our profit at the price we were at $460. So we maintained the same price, and we ended up becoming the low cost provider by the end of the simulation. And again, that led us to become the highest sellers again by year 15. And then our drone strategy mirrored that. We wanted to be the low cost provider. Year 9 came around, and we increased our price and our PQ rating. We had the second highest price at that point, which means we had the least amount of sales because our PQ rating still wasn't competitive. But we were happy with our profit. So we kept the price at $2,500. And as our competitors raised their prices, we again became the low cost provider. And year 12 is where you saw that change, where we became the low cost provider again. Our sales skyrocketed. And our return on equity, our return on investment, our stock price, everything just soared because we were selling so many drones by that point. So our production strategy, year 6, right out of the gate, we decided to buy a robot to help with our production costs. We took out a loan for that, but it was not selling enough to pay for that kind of upgrade. So we started building workstations. I don't remember the exact year, but we underproduced by, I think it was like 13 units. And so we realized, well, we need to build workstations to offset that. So we started building our cheaper workstations, and that kept us from using overtime, which saved us a lot of money. And then when we were paying our employees, we made sure that we were above the average of our rival companies. And then going into year 14, we found that we could produce more units by effectively training our associates. We weren't spending any money when it came to training or best practices, but that year we increased it to $9,000, which is the max that the simulation would allow. And it actually turned out to be a cheaper solution to increase our production efficiency. Is cheaper than creating more workstations. We were capable of producing 1,593 cameras and 311 drones without spending any money on overtime. And then that also led us to, we had the lowest production and assembly costs, $185.64 and $1,096.06. Which above average productivity while below average labor costs. Sorry, we have a cat that just ran past our window. I'm sorry.
And now I'll go. Perfect timing. So our financial strategy was to our dividend policy was to incrementally increase our dividend amount payment. We didn't invest in paying dividends until year 9 and only increased to $5 per share, which was the second most for year 15. We didn't pay out a lot in dividends throughout the simulation, so we did not anticipate a huge increase in paying dividends if the simulation went on for another 2 years. We started investing in stock repurchases in year 9, and that was something we kind of looked over towards the beginning of the simulation. But once we started doing that, we consistently repurchased 100 shares every year, which ended up being integral to us increasing our stock price up to $519.62, which was the second best in the simulation. We achieved a strong credit rating by paying back our loan that we took out, every loan, and consistently turned out a profit. So with that being said, our closest competition without a doubt was Helios. We ended up tying them at the end of the simulation. I think we had a few differences, but we each had our things that we were better at. Up until the end of the simulation, they were pretty consistently ahead of us. So we did definitely come back and kind of made a little comeback at the end there. So it was pretty cool to see the success in year 12 and end up coming out on top. Our plan to take them on would be to continue our A+ credit rating and increase our company image. We definitely have the advantage in both factors. Can't really be an A+ credit rating, and our company image, I think, was like 92 or 93, I believe, at the end. And then the only other thing we would have to do is just make sure we could get a rise in our earnings per share and our return on investment. We can hope to do this by continuing our strategy of having a comparable PQ rating to our competitors and selling goods at a lower price. So if we were to continue the simulation the next 2 years, we had some goals that we would like to achieve. Our earnings per share was pretty consistently increasing towards the end, so we would like to have a consistent increase up to $20 from 18 and some change by the end of year 16, and then $22 by the end of year 17. Our return on I can't remember return on equity. Our target goal for return on equity by the end of year 16 is 38%, which is our average up until this point, and 40% by the end of year 17. Our credit rating, we pride ourselves in our A+ credit rating. We would like to continue that rating through years 16 and 17, as well as our image rating. That was one of the highest in the simulation. I'm pretty sure it was indeed the highest of the simulation. We would like to achieve a credit rating of 95 by the year 17. And then our stock price target as well. Our stock price goal is to reach $600 per share by year 17. We also need to increase our return on investment in order to compete with Helios. We have the highest profit, but also the second highest cost of goods sold. So getting our costs down to increase our profit even more would be important for us to achieve, which would also help our return on equity. We could also look to take more advantage of marketing opportunities to continue leading in sales.
All right, and I'm gonna talk about the lessons we learned for this semester. So for the lessons we learned with managing this company, and from our experience, we learned several lessons to reach our goals. We learned that having a clear and focused strategy is a key to success. We have to understand the market and what customers need. We can remain competitive and being success if we focus on the lessons we learned and continuing to adapt and evolve our strategy. If we want to achieve profitability for the company, we must carefully monitor expenses and find ways to improve productivity. We have learned this through our company. that managing cost and increasing efficiency are two important factors for achieving profitability. And last, and this is actually the important point for us. If what we planned for our strategy did not work, don't give up. See what was the wrong and try to correct it. The company will be stronger and achieve its goals when we focus on our strategy and understand it.
All right. And then that's the end.